Hi, everyone. Welcome to Plainsight's conversation today. My name is Venky Ranganathan. I'm the CTO of Plainsight. Here's Abhijit Bhatnagar. He's the principal software engineer on the team. We're going to have a fun conversation today about Plainsight's GenAI strategy. We're going to talk about who we are, what we do, and why this is cool, and why this is going to be we think it's a game changer for the vision applications. Okay, we'll start with what is Plainsight. So Plainsight brings, I would say, computer vision applications to regular developers. So if I'm a developer from any company or even a hobbyist, I can actually create a computer vision application using resources that are provided by Plainsight. What is Plainsight is, it also makes this easier and faster. So if I'm a developer, I don't have to spend hours and days and creating a computer vision application, which was the case before. If you go back, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, it was difficult to create computer vision applications. So you had to be, first of all, an expert in computer vision. Second, you had to work with tools that were not AI optimized, AI enabled. So simple thing like, for example, there's a camera looking out in the parking lot, for example, looking at cars. We want to see the license plate. We want to see what that is. Read the license plate. So I can enable the camera. I can create a filter using our OpenFilter hub. So you can go to, by the way, we are both open source and a SaaS supported platform. You can use a filter that exists, or you can create your own filter to look at particular data, like the license plate, right? And then, because we are an AI company, we are a vision AI company. So what we do really well is use the filter, which is actually a container by itself. It has code, it has data, it has the model that we establish. So what it can do is it can train the model continuously, get really good at reading license plates and with accuracy and precision, right? Coming in is unstructured data. You can convert this to structured data. You can put in a database. You can scan all the license plates that were scanned by the camera and do some processing. You can take some actions. For example, you could say, anything with a Washington license plate or a California license plate, take some action, for example, right? So you could actually turn the camera feed into an actual application that people can use. That's the beauty of Plainsight. Now, what is Plainsight is, it also makes this easier and faster. So if I'm a developer, I don't have to spend hours and days and creating a computer vision application, which was the case before. If you go back, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, it was difficult to create computer vision applications. So you had to be, first of all, an expert in computer vision. Second, you had to work with tools that were not AI optimized, AI enabled. So it's a pretty cool company. We are super proud of the work we're doing. The core of what we do, think of it as what is the sort of the key things that we provide. One is the concept of the pipeline. So you think about DevOps, right? Today, DevOps, everybody understands DevOps, why it's critical, CI/CD pipelines, continuous integration, continuous deployment, making changes, quickly see it in production type of stuff, right? With the test automation. VisOps, which is our, claim to fame, is basically about having this computer vision applications created, like I mentioned, how to read from the camera and create a pipeline that continuously trains the filter, which the model is contained in the filter. So we filterize the model and we continuously train that, right? So the filter concept is fantastic because it lets people select what they want to see. So if in general, camera feeds, they have a lot of data, they produce a lot of data. So it's very important to isolate what you want to see, right? And today, Abhijit and I are going to talk about a little bit about what is our Gen AI strategy, right? Everybody talks about Gen AI, We all talk about Gen AI. We have an MCP server implementation, and we enable vibe coding. So let's hear more about what we do, Abhijit. So what are we trying to do, and why is this important?
Yeah. So as you very well said, at Plainsight and at OpenFilter, we make it easier for developers to adopt and deploy computer vision applications. And with GenAI in picture, we are now thinking about how do we further that step and how do we make it even more easier with the GenAI tools and IDE integrations to essentially reduce the time it takes to deploy new computer vision application from months to days of effort.
So in general, essentially, we are making it easier to filterize the application or create filters and do all the coding necessary to enable the application.
Yeah. So in a traditional computer vision pipeline, there are essentially a series of steps that need to be taken. Let's take an example. In an example of trying to identify ingredients in a salad bowl, you need to first crop the video and identify where the salad bowl is in the frame. Once you do that, then you need to start identifying different ingredients in the bowl. For example, there may be avocados, there may be cherry tomatoes, there may be chicken or other ingredients, right? And then you need to, so for each of these ingredients in a traditional computer vision pipeline, there are, we do what we call boundary boxes.
Yeah.
So we create boundary boxes around each of these ingredients.
Yes.
Once we do that, then we need to start labeling them or classifying them.
Yeah.
As to what those are,
Yes.
what those ingredients are.
Yes.
So you can think of all of these things as steps in a pipeline.
Correct.
So step one is identifying the salad bowl. Step two, identifying the ingredients. Step three, labeling them, and then step four, outputting the data for some processing.
Yeah.
So these are steps. So at Plainsight, what we do is we create a pipeline and we publish filters, which are essentially containers that you can deploy in a Kubernetes environment or on a hosted Kubernetes environment on Google Cloud, on AWS, wherever you feel like. So that's essentially what we do in Plainsight. With GenAI in picture, we further simplify this process by enabling your existing agentic coding solutions in your IDEs or web-based IDEs to essentially integrate with the OpenFilter MCP server, so that now you don't need to be familiar with the OpenFilter specific code and Plainsight specific code, but instead now you can use natural language prompts in your IDEs to essentially create a pipeline for you within a day.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So essentially, this works for sort of the newer developers and people started using vibe coding stuff. So what exactly do they have to do? Like, how would you configure this? Like, what would be a practical application of this?
Yeah, so getting started with the OpenFilter MCP server is just like integrating with any other MCP server. So let's define a few terms. MCP server is essentially the model context protocol server. The model context protocol simplifies, I should say, extends what an AI agent can do by making external information and tools beyond the model's original training accessible to the agents. So now, any AI agent can do more than what it was originally trained for using an MCP server.
Yeah.
With OpenFilter MCP server, any existing AI agent can now create pipelines, computer vision pipelines, using open filters. To to integrate with the OpenFilter MCP server, all you need to do is configure the OpenFilter MCP server as an MCP server in your existing IDEs. In the future, we are going to further simplify this workflow by adding the OpenFilter MCP server in existing MCP server repositories.
Nice. Yeah.
So that
it's automatic.
It's automatic, and also it's easier to discover and integrate with.
Yeah, that will be super, because I think now everybody's like trying to use OpenFilter stuff. We get good feedback from that use. We welcome all use of OpenFilter and Plainsight. So the more feedback we get, the better we do, and we develop more useful applications around this stuff. So in the future, we'll also have a lot of telemetry and metrics around this stuff, so we can actually, the user can see how the model performed, stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah. So one of the things we are looking at is essentially, like you said earlier, the traditional way of evaluating a computer vision application was looking at the sort of the model performance metrics. Model performance metrics are essentially what we call in the software industry white box metrics.
Yeah.
It exposes the internal state of the system. So developers who are responsible for owning and building a computer vision application are very familiar with the intricate details of that application and know these metrics very well. Right? However, the challenge is that operators of the software who actually use this software on a day-to-day basis do not need to be exposed to these internal state of the system. Instead, they need like simple indications whether the application is good or not so good.
Yeah,
right.
Like a pass-fail.
Like a pass-fail. That's all they need.
Right.
To do their day-to-day jobs.
Yeah.
Instead, all they need to know is whether the labels were good or bad.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So in general, do you see the test infrastructure and automation it's not restricted to vision applications? You could actually, if you have any sort of pipeline, you could integrate this so that you can get the result based on a set of tests. And by the way, the test can be defined by the user too. So Plainsight provides a pre-built set of tests for vision applications, but there's no reason why somebody cannot go off and create their own tests. And you can have the whole set of tests run at any point in time. It could be any part of the pipeline too. It could be in development. It could be in a test scenario. It could be in a production environment.
Yeah. So one of the things we are doing at Plainsight is sort of bringing traditional software development methodologies to machine learning. The challenge with current machine learning development practices is that we lack sort of a unified or a industry-wide standard on how to develop new applications. And at Plainsight, we are looking at bringing standard software development technology practices, like where's your development environment, where's your staging environment, where's your production environment, how do you create deployments to machine learning models. And we make it very easy to configure using what we call a pipeline lifecycle. So you can start thinking about developing applications in the traditional software development process with just addition of a new model. So with that in place, you should be any user should be able to define their own tests, their own observability requirements, and their own pre-deployment monitoring, post-deployment monitoring requirements.
Yeah. So how would, for example, how would the user access this? Like how they have to go to our portal, or how do they use it?
So to get started with creating your own computer vision pipelines, visit plainsight.ai today, and explore our open source filter applications at openfilter.io and as well as on our GitHub repository.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you. And how have you been finding time at Plainsight after you joined? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to learn over here.
Yes. Yes.
And as well as to do.
Yeah. So Abhijit and I have a common thread from Amazon. So we were ex-Amazon, both of us. It's useful to have that perspective also in the company. So, and then our CEO has tons of ideas, and we sort of try to implement the stuff. Kit is not here, but I'm sure you've seen other videos from Kit. So thank you all. This was a great discussion. Thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you.
It was super fun. Something to learn, something to do. Amazing. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you.